Welcome. This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I am Owen James, and this is all your latest Rangers news here on Match Day. Yes, it's the 29th of September. Yes, it is finally a home game, a proper home game in the league at Ibrox, with the stadium open, with everything in place, ready to go today against Hibernian. Game that, that chance to really sort of take it to the max, to really get our league form up and running the same way we did in the Europa League on Thursday night. Arguably, it's become a real must-win game, hasn't it? In terms of, the fact that the other two near the top of this league have done so well yesterday. I mean, we're going to look, obviously, we'll take a bit of time. We will look at the other results of the league table. We'll do a little bit of background on the Hibs Rangers game, look at a little bit of history, and then we'll talk about tomorrow's game. We'll talk about Rangers, my suggested starting 11, which I know Philippe Clement will not pick. I'll talk about what I think Clement's 11 is going to be. I'll also talk a little bit about two players that I don't think should feature for Rangers, and I'll give you reasons for that. I know a lot of you will hate me for it, but you know what? Don't care. And we're also going to talk, obviously, a little bit about our opponents today. Big day for the channel. We have got a live watch along coming up as well at 12 o'clock. So please, obviously, come and join us for that. The bigger the audience, the better. Obviously, as well, you can support the channel today by becoming a member. Become a member, 99p per month. Cheaper than a McDonald's coffee, or obviously hit the super thanks button below the video, or when you come into the live chat onto the on the live watch along, you can always give a super chat or a super sticker. You hear a weird noise in the background. That's my dog. I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's doing some sort of weird stuff. He's a weird Labrador. Anyway, let's have a look at the results from today. Some interesting results from today. Some interesting performances from today as well. Motherwell and St Mirren both getting players sent off. A 2-1 win for the Steelmen at home. I did predict the St Mirren winning that one. I got that one wrong. Aberdeen, what do you say about Aberdeen? A 2-1 away win at Dundee. They had 2 shots on target. They scored 2 goals. That was it. And they're now 6 of 6 at the start of the season. Now they do play Celtic after the international break on the 19th of October. That showdown is now looming large for them. I think a real test of whether this Aberdeen revival under their new manager, Jimmy Thielen, is a real one or is not. But you've got to kind of admire that. I mean, as much as we hate them, obviously we do absolutely hate them from up the northeast coast. You've got to kind of admire the work that Jimmy Thielen's done in terms of turning around that team and making them into a real, a really good quality side this year. One that will, I think, really push up the league and do, I think, at least third this season without a shadow of a doubt. Kilmarnock 3, Dundee United 3. I think I did call that one as a draw. Hearts 1, Ross County 1. What the hell is going on at Hearts? You know what? We watched that, the first, if you go back to that first game of the season when we played them, and we came out of that game, thinking that the draw we got, actually, you know what, wasn't a bad result, was it? It was a decent result, but Hearts, what on earth is going on with them at the moment? I mean, drawing at home to Ross County. I mean, as we saw when we played Ross County, they were pretty appalling. Hearts had 21 shots today, 8 on target, and dominated possession 71-29. They didn't actually equalise until the 96th minute to a Lawrence Shankland goal. Yes, Lawrence Shankland finally back in the goals. But Ross County had led since the 35th minute in that game. And you've got to kind of ask some questions. What the hell is going on at that club? They go from finishing 3rd last season, doing quite well in Europe as well, to being realistically an absolute disaster this season. Obviously, Stephen Naismith has been sacked. And, they're obviously still looking for a manager. Liam Fox is the interim manager. They're still obviously, looking around for a manager. Now there's talk, obviously, of investment into Hearts from Tony Bloom, the guy who owns Brighton, some £10 million, which, I think is Tony Bloom is someone that Rangers should be courting as an investor into our club. I mean, Tony Bloom, obviously, you look at what he's done at Brighton, the job that he's done at Brighton in terms of how he's turned that club round, and that's certainly someone we should be looking at. But interesting nonetheless. And Of course, the inevitable happened with a 6-0 Celtic victory up at St Johnstone. Although, by all accounts, one of the Celtic players, not sure which one it was lucky to stay on the park for a horrible assault, I think was the word I read, on one of the St Johnstone players. That most people, most level-minded, right-minded people branded a pretty shocking challenge. But Michael Stewart branded not even a foul. Yes, Michael Stewart, the man who knows precisely jack all about football. Michael Stewart, whose knowledge is about what is going to probably fill the contents of this bag tomorrow. Right, guys, let's have a look at the table as we move, obviously, on to today's game. Obviously, that lot from across the city sit top on 18 points, played 6, won 6. I mean, second place, I don't think many people would have predicted that at the start of the season. Aberdeen played 6, won 6. We are third on 10 points, 8 points behind Celtic and Aberdeen, making it even more important that we get the full 3 points today. Motherwell, after their victory, sit fourth on 10 points, same level with us, although we can move 3 points ahead of them with a victory today. St Mirren sit 6th on 8 points. Ross County 7th on 7 points. Dundee 8th on 6th. Hibs down in 9th place with 5 points. They've only won 1 game this season. St Johnstone sit 10th on 4. Kilmarnock and Hearts take up the bottom 2 places. The teams that finished 3rd and 4th last season. Got to say, a bit of a surprise, that one. Well, today's game against Hibernian is, like I said, it is a must-win. It is a game that, already is a must-win. We can't obviously allow Celtic to be 8 points ahead of us. We've got to obviously close that gap. Same, obviously, with the lot from up the northeast coast. Now, we look back a little bit back on the overall history of the fixture and our last few meetings with them before we look at team news going into the game. Now, I mean, overall, we've played 100 matches against them. 100 matches, a century of matches is up. They've won only 17 of those 100, only 17% of the 100. That took a lot of mathematical genius to work out the percentage that really did. 17 out of 100 is 17%. And I guarantee there'll be some people sitting there going, how did you work it out? And 16 draws. I mean, draws are almost equal with Hibs' victories. And we have won 67 of our 100 games against them. Some 67%, over 2/3 of our games. 2/3 of the games have been won by us. Goals-wise, they've scored 103, only just recently going over the century of goals against us. And we've scored 209 goals. So they average 1.03 goals per game. We average 2.09 goals per game. So 2-1, obviously an average result in this fixture. I mean, let's look at the last few fixtures against them. Going back to 2021. And as you can see, it's a pretty positive picture there. Sorry that the results are in green. That's the transfer market for you. So 3-1 in our last meeting on Saturday, March the 30th. Then before that, there was a 2-0 away at Easter Road, a 3-0 away at Easter Road, a 4-0 at Ibrox, a 3-1 away win at Easter Road, a 4-1 away win at Easter Road. A lot of away games in there, isn't there? 3-2 at home in 2022. 2-2 draw back in 2022. That's the last time, obviously, we did not beat them back in 2022. That was that draw. A 2-0 win at home in 2022 against them, and a 1-0 away win. So as you can see, last 10 fixtures, 9 wins, 1 draw, no defeats. So a pretty positive picture for Rangers going into today's game against Hibs. Now, we saw on Thursday night, I think, a very positive performance from Rangers. A more complete performance than we've seen in the past. I think, the defence looked fairly decent. The central defenders, in particular, Proper and Suter, I thought played very well indeed. Big Casanvirjo, I thought was very, very good at left back. Naturally, a right back or a centre back, yet did a good job filling in, obviously, for the suspended Hiefte, who will be back and available for today's game. I thought, obviously, the weak link, I did think that James Tavernier was very poor on Thursday night. I've heard some people, and I've read some comments that they thought that Tav played well. Somebody gave Tav man of the match. I think that was his dad, maybe, or his mum. And I've heard some people saying that he was his best performance of the season. Well, I thought he was genuinely dreadful. I thought he gave the ball away on a number of occasions. He was beaten on a number of occasions. His set piece delivery was pretty poor as well. Really did not rate him at all in that fixture. I do genuinely think the guy is long past his best. I mean, I know he's kind of becoming bigger than the club to some of our fans, and I think some of our fans do think it's TAV FC rather than Rangers FC, and I'll stand by that comment. And I know people will give me shit for that, and I don't care really. You know, you can't please all the people all the time, can you? And there's always going to be someone who hates you, and and I think as Mark Goldbridge said, if there's 100 people in the room and one person or two people hate you, there's still 99 or 98 that like you, and it's just those one or two people that like to shout out because they've got big mouths and a narcissistic opinion of themselves. But look, I thought he was poor. I thought Tom Lawrence was poor. I think both those players are pretty poor. We'll talk a bit more about them shortly. Now, in terms of starting lineups, for today's game, I think it'd be a very predictable starting lineup from Philippe Clement. I know people talk about people really do talk about the whole situation where he's unpredictable in terms of his rotations, in terms of how he lines the team up, etc., etc. But I do think there will be an element of predictability to this, to this lineup, even though we obviously played in midweek against Malmo. I still think he'll keep a fairly similar sort of team. I think he'll probably go with that, which was a team that started on Thursday, bar Hjefte back in for Casanwejo. So that's Butland, Tav, Suter, Proper, Hjefte, Barron, Diamande, Tierney, Lawrence, Bayrami, and Dessers up top. Personally, I would make changes. I would make changes. I want to see a very attacking Rangers today, a team that's going to go for them, a team that's going to go for go for Hibs from the outset. I think we need to really take the game to them. Nice early goal, get them under the cosh. This is not a good Hibs team. This is a fairly poor side, and you've got to say that both Edinburgh sides have been very poor this season. So how would I line up today in today's game? This is what I would do if I was picking the team. And like I said, I know there's a number of you there will go, thank God you're not picking the team. I would go with obviously Big Jack in goal. I thought Jack's done quite well the last couple of games. Obviously clean sheets as well. You've got to give him the heads up for that. Didn't have a great deal to do against Malmo on Thursday night. So look, you can only give him 6, 7 out of 10 for that because he didn't do a lot. I'm going to put Casanwejo at right back. Yes, I'm going to drop the captain. You can't drop James Tavernier. He's our captain. Yes, he's also very shit as well. So Casanwejo comes in at right back. I thought, he did the job at left back, and the guy's naturally a right back. So if he's good at left back, think of how much even better he can be playing right back. It kind of just follows through. And this is a guy who's quick, he's strong, he's more decisive, he can tackle, he's stronger in the tackle. He's unlikely to get caught out with the ball over the top or, become a weak link. He does track, he doesn't slowly jog back. So for me, Big Cass starts there. Suter and Proper, look, as much as I love Big Leon, and I would love to see Big Leon back in the team, you don't on the whole mess with your central defensive pairing. At the end of the day, you look at most top teams around Europe, most top teams that have gone on to be successful, they have a very a set central defensive pairing. And for me, Suter and Proper do seem to be the managers. They did do very well, I thought, on Thursday. I'm going to go with Suter and Proper. Hjefte for me has to come back into the team. I know he didn't play Thursday night, and I know that Cass did a good job, but Hjefte's been great in the league so far. And obviously he was unlucky to miss that game on Thursday night due to that hideously terrible red card that he received against Dynamo Kiev in the Champions League. So for me, Hjefte has to start. I'm going to give Dio a rest. I want to see Raskin in there. I want to see Raskin, whatever you want to call him. You call him Raskin. Well, I'll call him Raskin. Let's call the whole thing off. Anyway, yes, let's go with Nicholas Raskin, whatever you want to call him, alongside Connor Barron. Barron will play the 6 role as he's done really well this season. And great story about him, actually, on social media earlier, where apparently when he was on loan at Falkirk, Falkirk were playing Celtic, and one of the Falkirk players was told by Connor Barron not to accept a Celtic jersey in exchange for his own after the game. Top move there from Connor Barron, obviously, which is therefore made him come in for hate from that one-eyed, unwashed lot on the other side of the city. But yeah, I want to see Raskin get an opportunity today. He can go box to box for me. He's dynamic. He is an 8, I think, more than a 6. And I really want to see him given some minutes, give him a chance. You know, Clement's talked about rotating. He's talked about, you know, the fact that Raskan will get his opportunity, you know, and that a number of players will get their opportunity. So I do want to see him given the chance in today's game alongside Connor Bowen. Connor Bowen, for me, has to start every game. The lad is just different class. I mean, he's just the man who wants the ball all the time. He's positive with the ball. He's just a top player, and he's a young Scottish lad as well, which is even more encouraging. So for me, has to start. I'm going to start Ross McCausland wide right. I thought Ross did really well when he came on. I know Ross has come in from a bit of hate from some Rangers fans saying that he's not up to playing for Rangers. He's not a Rangers player. You know, he's not good enough for Rangers, which I think is pretty, you know, awful for a young player to come in. And it kind of, you know, it does show, doesn't it? This whole, you know, thing about, well, people say, well, why don't Rangers give youth a chance? Well, there you go. There's an example. We give youth a chance with McCausland, and he gets hate from some of our fans. I do think that his criticism and the criticism he gets is very, very unfair. So I'm going to start with him on the right. I'd do with an interesting move. Now, I think Oscar Cortez still out, Ridvan still out. So, look, we're short left wingers. And I don't want to see Bayrami on the left for a long time. Yes, I do know that he has played on the left side before any smart ass comes in the comments and tells me that. But I want to see Bayrami in the 10 role. I want to see him really influencing the game. You know, and I think we saw flashes of what he can do on Thursday night, how his prompting and probing and his passing and his movement can, you know, unlock defenses and cause problems. And obviously he gets the goal as well. So, you know, I want to see Bayrami in the 10 role. Now, I want to see put Cherney out wide left. You know, he's left-footed. Make him use his left foot to go outside. Make him use his left foot to actually stay left. You know, to stop him becoming that one-trick pony that teams know that the moment he gets it, he's going to drift inside. He's always going to come inside all the time, and they know that. So for me, I would go with him on the left-hand side, give him a bit of width. Now, Hamza Igman didn't play on Thursday. Obviously, didn't even travel with the squad due to a visa issue. I want to see Igman given a start. I want to see him get more than 20 minutes, more than 30 minutes. And look, I know this is going to upset the Dessers fan lovers, the Dessers boys out there, but Dessers for me was average on Thursday night. Yes, he worked very hard. Well done. That's, you know, that's what every player should do. You know, you don't get any special mentions for that. You don't win any medals for working hard. I find, you know, you find that in real life as well. You don't actually get any thanks for working hard. You know, but he didn't do what he's actually paid to do, which is put the ball in the back of the net, and he missed some absolutely glaring opportunities, including that one he blazed over the goal. I want to see Hamza play there. Hamza's a better player than Dessers. He's more skillful. He's technically better. He links the play better. He holds the ball up better. I want to see him given 50, 60 minutes, 70 minutes maybe. Yes, but then bring Dessers on for the last half an hour, 20 minutes. I mean, Dessers has always been better as a sub anyway. So I want to see Hamza given a chance. And also, you know, look, Dessers has played a lot of football. Give him a rest. What I mean, I don't get how you can have an objection to that. I know some of them, the Dessers lovers, will have that objection to that. I mean, I've probably really upset Shona from Four Lads, who absolutely, you know, is the president of the Cyril Dessers fan club. But look, at the end of the day, Hamza Igman to me looks a very talented footballer, and I want to see the best of Hamza. So Hibs, what do we know about them? Well, look, I've got to admit, I don't know a great deal about them. I'm not a Hibs fan, never been a Hibs fan, never will be a Hibs fan. I think the colours they wear are hideous, which, you know, you'd expect, wouldn't you? But, you know, this season has been an interesting one for them, shall we say, with, you know, obviously their new manager, David Gray, who I thought was a singer, but there we go. Apparently he's not a singer. There we go. But anyway, in terms of their results this season, you know, they obviously played in the group stage of the League Cup, but we can forget about that. In terms of their league form, they lost 3-0 on the opening day of the season to St Mirren. They then lost 2-0 at home to Celtic. They then lost 3-1 in the Scottish Cup to Celtic. They drew 2-2 with Dundee at home. They drew 1-1 away with Kilmarnock, who've had a very dodgy start to the season. Their only win actually came over a very poor St Johnstone team, 2-0. And St Johnstone had a player sent off. That was in their last game. Kim Pioka was actually sent off in that game. He was sent off in the 89th minute. You know, Hibs had already actually done the damage in that game with goals from Kukarevich and Martin Boyle in that game. Hibs lined up in a 4-2-3-1 for that game. Bursic, their goalkeeper, Cadden at right back, Eke Pateleta, Hora, Abito, their back four, Quan Triantes, their holding two, Then the three were Yuan, Malinkov, and Kaden, and Kukurevich or Kukurevich, I can't say the guy's name, up top. So, you know, there's danger there in those two players. There's Molo Litnik and Kukarevic. I'm sure that's not how you say it. But, you know, they'll look to obviously come out and try and give us a game, try and beat us. You know, they'll probably they probably won't come out. They'll probably sit back behind the ball, defend, low block, and hope to hit us on the break. I mean, that will be their philosophy. And I think that'll be the philosophy of most teams that come to Ibrox, barring Celtic and maybe even Aberdeen, given the confidence they now must have this season. So look, today, it is going to be a game that, again, we've got to win. A game that we need to get the 3 points from. Predictions? Give me your predictions. So what I want is 2 predictions, guys, in the comments. I want a prediction on what you think the score will be and a prediction for your lineup. Like I said, that's the lineup I want to see today. I don't think I'll see it. I don't think I see it. And I don't want to see these two in the starting lineup. For me, 2 of the poorest players in the team so far. You know, Lawrence, to me, looks a player that I think he'd be better as a sub anyway, coming on 15, 20 minutes. And James Tavernier, look, he's going to be in the squad whether we want it or not. He's going to probably start whether we want to or not, despite what Clement said about the fact that he can't play every minute of every game. He will play every minute of every game because, let's face it, he's James Tavernier. And I think, you know, no matter how badly he plays, he'll never get dropped. Personally think he should be in the B team, but there we go. Anyway, let me know your score predictions. Let me know your team predictions. Score prediction, I'm going 3-0 Rangers today. Another clean sheet, 3 goals as well. First goal scorer, I'm going to go for Nadim Bayrami. Let me know who your first goal scorer is as well in the comments. Well, thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. As always, look, if you enjoyed the content, hit the like, hit the sub, help the channel to keep on growing. This is the dream. This is the passion to get full time on this. So we can bring you Rangers news every single day, more lives, more videos, etc., more content, more chance for you to get involved in the two-way street that is Glasgow Rangers Nation. Thanks for watching. We are the people.